Brush out the divine spark of religion, and you have the dark, godless society of communism.
The early 50s was a disturbing period in the United States. The country was swept up in an anti-communist witch hunt, and the entertainment industry was targeted as a haven for communist sympathizers. An organization known as Red Channels published a pamphlet that identified people suspected of being communists.
There was a real danger at that time. The Red Channels people were busily at work. They could condemn you and get you off the air in a minute. One phone call. The network management was so chicken in those days, it was frightening.
A good friend of mine, who was a vice president for programs of the radio network, suddenly disappeared one night. He just left. The next morning found a note on my desk saying, sorry, I couldn't say goodbye, but I've cleared out all my books and papers and I'm gone. I probably will never see you again. Well, you make the assumption that there was something in his background and somebody got after him and he left.
Do solemnly swear or affirm.
Government workers had to swear publicly that they were not communists. So the networks demanded that all their employees also sign a loyalty oath.
Organization now. And I do not belong to any such organization now.
Well, I was a loyal American citizen. I'd served in the Navy during the Second World War, so it was hardly a shame to sign a loyalty oath. It just seemed to belabor the obvious that why do you have to sign a loyalty oath to your own country? That doesn't sound American. But a lot of us did it because we wanted to keep our jobs.
In spite of his own misgivings, Murrow asked the staff of See It Now to sign these loyalty oaths to save their jobs and to protect the show. Howard K. Smith, who was listed in Red Channels, believes Murrow's compromise may have saved his career.
There it was in black and white. My name was listed. I sat there and waited for something terrible to happen, because to most people to whom that happened, their careers were destroyed. Nothing happened. And late in life, I discovered that it was Murrow. People knew that to get to me, to attack me, to destroy me, they'd have to go past Murrow, and they didn't want to take him on. So I think I was saved by that.
The raw, harsh, unpleasant fact is that communism is an issue and will be an issue in 1954.
Under the banner of anti-communism, Senator Joe McCarthy destroyed the lives and ruined the reputations of government officials and Army officers. But journalists and politicians were terrified to attack McCarthy. They were fearful that McCarthy, in turn, would destroy their careers.
McCarthy was a fascist and of the worst type. There was nothing American about the man, except having been born in Wisconsin. He was a demagogue of absolutely the worst type.
Any man who has been given the honor of being promoted to general and who says, I will protect another general who protects communists is not fit to wear that uniform, General.
You were lying. We both agreed on that.
I was terribly concerned and alarmed. I saw the first stages of a fascist revolution in this country.
Good evening. Tonight, See It Now devotes its entire half hour to a report on Senator Joseph R. McCarthy, told mainly in his own words and pictures. We must not confuse dissent with disloyalty.
This time, Murrow refused to compromise and launched a daring attack on the powerful senator.
We were called in, the whole staff in the cutting room was called in, and Murrow said, you cannot live in a democracy, you cannot live in this country without doing something that maybe you will be suspect by this McCarthy. You will now be visible because your credit will be on the air, your names will be publicized. If there is anything in your background that you don't want to reveal, or if you have fear, don't work on the program. And Murrow ordered that wherever McCarthy is, we should shoot film. And the film kept coming in, and we saved film for about a year.
You wrote a book in 32, is that correct?
Yes,
I wrote a book.
This is the document.
Murrow demonstrated how McCarthy would take quotations out of context and distort their meaning.
Adlai Stevenson to the Monttremblant Conference.
But Senator McCarthy didn't permit his audience to hear the entire paragraph. This is the official...
Murrow was also not afraid to express his own personal opinion.
The line between investigating and persecuting is a very fine one, and the junior senator from Wisconsin has stepped over it repeatedly.
See it now as the only public forum that ever attacked McCarthy on the airwaves. On the airwaves. And it took a great deal of bravery. It took a great deal of guts.
And whose fault is that? Not really his. He didn't create this situation of fear, he merely exploited it, and rather successfully. Cassius was right. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves. Good night, and good luck.
See It Now was the first of the influential broadcasts in television that changed America. The Murrow-McCarthy broadcast ended Joe McCarthy. It was an arrow right through, wham.